This video has spoilers. Don't get spoiled. The spoilers will spoil you. Don't get spoiled. Hello everybody, this is Kirby over yonder, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. My favorite cartoon of all time is Gravity Falls. Now, there are a lot of reasons as for why this is my favorite cartoon, but that's not what we're going to be talking about today. Today, we are going to be talking about my favorite episode of Gravity Falls, and one of my favorite cartoon episodes of all time, Dipper and Mabel versus the Future. The episode starts off with Mabel waking Dipper up in a very interesting way and tells him that in a week it's going to be their birthdays. A few seconds in, and I've already got something to praise about this episode, and that is the pacing. I'll get more into this later, but this episode's pacing is fantastic. The writers waste absolutely no time whatsoever. They establish the fact that it's Dipper and Mabel's birthdays before the theme song even comes on. Grunkle Stan then comes in and says that he's been waiting for some Ponytail magazine. Okay, now I've got to see Grunkle Stan with a ponytail. Somebody please draw fan art of that. We cut to downstairs when Dipper and Mabel are planning for their birthday party, and Grunkle Stan tells them that they can't have it at the shack, so they decide to have it at the high school gym. Ford yells for Dipper, and Dipper comes up to see what's wrong. Turns out Ford has a mission for him and Dipper. Pretty much the orb containing Weirdmageddon has cracked, and they have to go get some adhesive to patch it. Mabel is perfectly okay with this, and gives Dipper a walkie-talkie. Mabel and Seuss get to the high school and meet Wendy. Wendy tells Mabel about how much high school sucks, and we even get a High School Musical reference. Mabel gets really depressed by this, so Seuss recommends that they go invite Mabel's friends. We cut back to Dipper and Ford shows Dipper an underground bunker. I like Dipper and Ford's dynamic in this episode. I like how Dipper acts very excited and surprised by everything, while Ford acts very calm. It kind of gave me a similar vibe to that of a Rick and Morty episode, just with less of Rick being a jerk. Dipper and Ford go into the bunker to find the adhesive. Mabel asks Grenda and Candy if they want to come to her birthday party, and unfortunately, neither of them can come, and neither of them can say goodbye to her when she leaves Gravity Falls. We cut back to Dipper and Ford in the bunker, and I must say, I love how the bunker looks. It has a sci-fi feel to it, and it's really detailed and it looks really nice. In fact, as you will see later, this episode in general has really amazing animation. Anyways, Ford tells Dipper that he might be able to stay in Gravity Falls after the summer ends to help Ford with paranormal stuff. Dipper is unsure as to whether or not he wants to do this. Now, I really like how they did this. It would have felt really unnatural if Dipper immediately said yes or immediately said no. I like how he's unsure of it at first and needs to know more about it to come up with an opinion. Dipper finds the adhesive, which activates the security system. It determines whether or not to shoot you based on how scared you are, which actually does make a lot of sense if you think about it. I mean, if you weren't an intruder, then you wouldn't have any reason to be afraid. Ford isn't afraid at all, however, Dipper is very afraid. The security system tries to shoot Dipper, but ends up capturing Ford. Ford gets put into that thing, and Dipper uses his magnet gun to grab onto it. Then the thing takes off in one of the most gorgeous looking scenes in cartoon history. Seriously, just watch the scene. It looks amazing. In fact, I'd even call this episode the best looking cartoon episode in animation history. Dipper uses his magnet gun on this thing, which makes it crash. Unlike earlier, Dipper is not afraid of the Social Security system, which causes it to self-destruct, and Ford is saved. Cut back to Mabel, and she's talking to Grunkle Stan about how her day sucked, but then mentions that the one good thing is that she still has Dipper. However, she then hears over the walkie-talkie that Dipper is accepting Ford's apprenticeship. Like I said earlier, the pacing of this episode is amazing. I mean, think about it. It starts off with Mabel realizing that high school sucks. Then she realizes that she's not going to be able to see her friends anymore. Then she realizes that she's not going to see Dipper anymore. What's the theme here? What happens to Mabel keeps getting progressively worse. It makes us feel more bad for Mabel because every single thing that's happening to her is worse than the last. That is how you do a story like this, and it is really well executed and really well paced. Dipper gets home, and Mabel tells him that she heard about Dipper becoming an apprentice, and they have a big argument about it, and this is really well done. What's so well done about this scene? Well, Dipper and Mabel both have clear motivations. I mean, for Dipper, you understand where he's coming from because obviously he spent a lot of time thinking about the mysteries of this town, and he wouldn't want all of that to go to waste. While on Mabel's side, her day pretty much sucks and the Dipper's the only thing that could redeem it. Also, the red lighting does a good job making the scene feel really intense. Mabel eventually runs away and realizes that she grabbed Dipper's bag by mistake. She then hears Lemon grab, oh wait, I mean Morty, oh frick, I mean Blandon, that's who I meant. Blandon asks Mabel to give him the orb, and she does, but Blandon ends up breaking it, revealing that he was possessed by Bill Cipher. The episode then ends with Bill starting Weirdmageddon, which I must say is a really intense way to end the episode. So what did this episode do right? Well, it tackled the theme of things ending in a very mature and dignified way. It had beautiful animation. The characters were all justified in their motivation. The action scene was amazing, the story was well paced, and the jokes were really funny and well timed. To be honest, this is in my top 3 favorite cartoon episodes of all time. I'm not really sure where in my top 3, but it is up there. And yes, I do plan on reviewing the other 2 episodes in my top 3. I'm not gonna say what they are yet, but I do plan on reviewing them. So, what's your thoughts on this episode? Do you think it's a good one, or do you consider it one of the weaker Gravity Falls episodes? Let me know in the comments, and Kirby out.